All right, man, let's talk. So Pistons has talked about they can make a big move, um, you know, or they can make a move. You got people dropping lists talking about what is realistic. Aaron Gordon, Norman Powell, the kid that got traded from Chicago to Minnesota. Damn, it was somebody else in there. Bobby Portis was on there. It was Norman Powell. Somebody else I liked on that list. Norman Powell, had Aaron Gordon, Bobby Portis, the kid from Chicago. Who was another guy on that list? Jesus. Murphy, that's who it was. But Pistons don't need no more pump fake. They don't need the Detroit sports definition of a big name, which is really not a big name. You know what I'm saying? It's just some semi-big name. They got to go get a name. I agree with Lou Will. They got to put a stud next to Cade Cunningham, along with a few other things. Well, a couple other people, but they got to put a stud next to him, man. They can't pump fake it no more, or we need to make it. You got a guy. You got another guy in Asar Thompson that's defensively right there with Wemby. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's huge. Offensively, we got to work on it, but we willing to work with him, okay? When you that great defensively, that's hard to find, right? He can already handle the ball, run and jump. So you hoping that you could just get him to, be a Gerald Wallace type, right? But offensively, that's what I mean. But the slashing. But yeah, there's no more, we need to get no. They gotta go out there and make a splash play. That has to happen. Whether you want to, see what it costs to keep Giannis, which you can't keep Giannis during in Asar Thompson for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons, but whether you look out there and people talk about, well, it's going to be so hard to get Lauri Markkanen because of the way Danny Ainge. Trey Murphy is, Joe Dumars is running shit over there with Trey Murphy and them in New Orleans, so he beefing with Tom Gores. It ain't gonna be no sweet lick over there neither. You know what I mean? So that ain't gonna be no sweet lick neither. But in general, yeah, even if you go out there and you get a Trey Murphy, you would have to do a Norman Powell and hope Beasley come back. They need another guy next to Cade. Whether it'd be a traditional scoring guard or a combo guard, or maybe another balanced guard next to Cade that's just as big as he is in the backcourt. However you wanna really, make that happen. Cade gives you the ability to put anybody next to him. Now you got people saying who don't know shit about basketball talking about, well, they need a point guard. Not to start next to Cade Cunningham, he's the point guard. I don't get how people understand. He makes great decisions with the ball in his hand. Well, what else do you want? Oh, he had turnovers. You got to turn the ball over when you got to do the scoring and the facilitating. People say, okay, hogging the ball. Okay, cool. Who you gonna give it to? That's not even his nature to really be a scorer. That's the crazy thing about it. He ain't even he don't even really want to score the ball like that. He rather just facilitate and get everybody involved. That's the crazy thing about it. He's forced to do anything. It's nobody else on this team that he can defer to. Who would you tell him to defer to? You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. So that's why they need somebody he can defer to. He can feed. He'd be great with, him and Dylan. Not Dylan. Him and Devin Booker are the same type of player, in my opinion. I think he's more a point guard. I think Booker more naturally a scorer and a shooter, but he's more a point guard than Booker. But Booker can do that. They balance each other well. Booker can do what Cade can do. I think Booker can be a high-level defender with the right motivation. They're interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? They can do what each other. I think Cade is just more true point than Booker, but Booker can do that. People say, oh, no Kyrie. Why not? Championship caliber player, can score. Locker room issues, okay. That's fair. But the ticket not going to be as high. And you know he played next to two of the more difficult players to mesh with. LeBron, Luka. You know, you put him next to Cade. Cade will feed him. Cade ain't trying to go point for point with him. That'd be a deadly backcourt. You know, Kyrie showed that he could defer and showed that he could show up. So that's a good backcourt. And he can defend. You know, when you really challenge him, he can defend. So that's my preferred choice. I think, you know, if you go out there and get a Trey Murphy or a Luka, like I said, or not a Luka, Trey Murphy or Lauri Markkanen, I think you can still get a Kyrie Irving. And that can also allow you, if you choose to, keep Durant and Ausar Thompson together. You know, would it take some of your future? Yeah, but I mean, you got to remember, there have been drafts where they had two guys in the draft. You know, Sass, I think Sass the same year as Holland. I could be wrong on that. Or somewhere in there. You had a year where you had Ivy and Durant. You had a year where you had Halliburton. It should have been Halliburton. Killian Hayes, Stu, and Sadiq Bey. You know, so you had some multiple. So you got a young player. You got the Chaz Lanier kid. At this point, I'm not willing to go SGA, give up my future like they did for SGA. I'm not willing to do that, but I'm willing to 2 or 3 years without picks. I'm willing to do that. You know, but more important, that 4 spot, a start that 4 spot, or fixing that 4 spot, or the 2 guard next to K. This the 2 guard next to K. And I don't think you can just put a like an older Klay Thompson part. You can't put an older Klay Thompson there. No. He can be a part of it. You know, he can come off the bench or whatever. Yeah, he can play parts. Why are you riding your brakes? Like, literally, there's nobody in front of you. You just got to ask yourself, man, about these drivers. Like, you're literally riding your brakes and there's nobody in front of you. It's wild. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. You know, Zach LaVine, so he's not a winner. I mean, Pistons won 16 games not too many years ago and they turned themselves to winners. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the person, the character. The game fit perfect. He gonna defend. He gonna play here. You gonna defend. That's just a fact. Duncan Robinson is defending like he never defended before. You know, all these guys. You know, I feel like if you get a guy like Zach LaVine, he gonna fall in and defend to the best of his abilities. But the thing about him is, he exactly what you need. 1 year left, $49 million on that contract, flat out bucket getter. He can handle the ball. He can handle the ball a lot of bit. He can score a lot of bit. You know, still got the athletic ability. I mean, your backcourt gonna be cold. Can finish at the rim. He can just plug in and say, "Yo, we just need you to play some defense, communicate, help out, and here, go score the basketball." The danger where it get there is like, okay, you get LaVine and Markkanen in there. You don't want no liabilities defensively. I think Markkanen could be a good defender. I'm not sure if he's a bad one, but I think he could be a really good defender. He's athletic. I didn't know he was that athletic until I really looked at him. He getting it off the first step, banging on cats. Like I think with JB Biggerstaff and the culture, I just don't want you to change the culture too much. That's the key. You don't want to change too much. That's why you can't really get rid of Durant. You can't really get rid of Ausar and Stewart. You got to keep 2 of those guys. You know what I'm saying? If you can get, Durant at a good price, which I don't think you will. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But you can't change too much of that culture. Jenkins has now been embedded in that culture. That's a fact. I feel like he part of it. K part of it. Ausar, he part of it. So, I mean, like I said, but if you are going to change a lot of it, you want to be able to add a guy that can defend his position, whether it's Trey Murphy, because you don't lose no defense to Trey Murphy from Tobias. You actually get better in game shooting. Okay, hey, that's a great fit. Okay, now we could turn around and say, we can look at the guard position. Who can you bring in where you don't lose anything at the guard position? Not sure. So, Kyrie, he can defend, but he ain't going to defend at the level that people want him to defend at. You know what I mean? So it's a great question, man. It's very interesting. who you can get to defend. But like I said, you got a bunch of guys that can put the ball in the basket. You got a bunch of guys that can do that. So, but if you can get them to play defense, I'm with it. So, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live, drop videos. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, more videos like this. Peace.